Hello and welcome. You're watching Money, Money, Money. I'm Sumaira Abdi. Since India's independence, 7 pay commissions have been set up on a regular basis to review and to make recommendations on the work and pay structure of all civil and military divisions of the government. But till the 5th pay commission, more often than not, the 50 lakh government staffers were unsatisfied. The 6th pay commission was good. The hope is that the 7th could be even better. But the workings of the pay commission are outside the purview of our show. What we can do, though, is help government staffers and their families manage their money better. So joining in today to actually give us a first-hand account of the issues at hand, we have with us Leena Gupta. Her husband, Aseem Gupta, is the Municipal Commissioner of Thane. We also have Richa Goyal. Her husband, Sandeep Goyal, is the Additional Commissioner of Income Tax. But that's not all. In fact, Leena is a practicing physician and artist as well, and Richa is pursuing research in nanotechnology, I believe, at IIT Powai. Am I correct?
Yeah.
All right, so they have a lot of questions, and Harshvardhan Rungta of Rungta Securities joins in today with a promise to actually be the knight in shining armor with a handy solution to all financial roadblocks. Thank you so much to all of you for being a part of our show, but I have to admit at the onset that this is a subject I don't know very much about. So I'm going to leave it to you ladies. What are the problems that people are actually facing?
My first posting was in a place called Nandurbar. So it was a tribal district. One of the forest officer's wives, and then suddenly her husband had a myocardial arrest. So she didn't know what to do. Her husband had not invested. She was in the early 30s and 2 small children. Finally, it was my husband and 2-3 officers who got her a job, and the job was superintendent in a. She was a superintendent of a hostel, of a girls' hostel.
So is this, you think this is a case which is isolated, or are there many cases where you see that people who are in government jobs have not invested very well because, you know, for the moment they're being taken care of?
See, initially what happens is most of the most of the officers' wives, they come from a modest background. We give academics lots of importance. So when they see all these comforts, they think, yes, this is there, this is enough. They're very happy with it. And we have a comfortable house. So no one actually thinks of investing. So, and life just goes on. And then suddenly when there is a mishap, so that's when the whole thing falls on your head.
And I take your point, but Richa, what about you? In your experience, have you seen that you know, financial planning has been given a lot of importance, or do you think it's been left for you know, when we retire?
That's a basic fact, I think, the government employee, because everything is being taken care of, right from car, maybe house, everything. I mean, even when you're moving from one city to another, you'll have plenty of people working, helping you out. You're always prepared for the better, and you're never prepared for the worst. So I think that finance just does come at the end of the story.
Yeah, and so, you know, time just passes by and you wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
Harsh, you know, Leena and Richa are actually representative of a much larger community. A family at most times, like you said. But, you know, this is a community where financial planning has been neglected. So what are the few things that they can at least start off with? What are the first few steps that they can take?
Well, the first cue is, you know, what especially the women should do is, your husbands are working right now. There is some standard of living which you're maintaining because of some kind of income that he's generating. You need to find out, if he was not there, what are the benefits that are going to come from the government. In most cases, if we were to ask upfront, even if I were to ask you for that instance, do you know what the government will give you in case your husband passes away? The monetary payout that they give is in the form of pension. That's a regular payment. Other than that, you have gratuity and all other one-time benefits. So the first thing is, you need to find out what is the pension that I will get, because eventually the wife is the one who's going to run the house. So you need to know very clearly what is it that the government will give you in case your husband is no more. Once you realize and you find that out, you will realize that there is a gap between what needs to be there vis-a-vis what you're going to get. Now, how do you fulfill that gap? Is that you need to either look at term insurance, you need to buy some kind of a life cover, which basically bridges the gap between what the government is going to give you and what you require. One important area which you need to address in some manner or the other is that currently you're living in government quarters. Now, in case your husband not being alive, you would need to move into another house. Now, that house, invariably, you would initially live in the same city in which you are currently placed, because your children are going to school. So you cannot just move and go into another city altogether. So there are going to be an additional rental expense which you're going to have on yourself. Whenever we speak to government employees, the first thing that comes from, the reply that I get, we've conducted several workshops in different government offices. The first thing that I hear is that we are government employees, government takes care of everything. The moment we start asking them to enumerate and list down what is this everything that you're talking about, then you start realizing the gaps.
Yeah, but one of the key things you mentioned was that they need a term plan. Is there not an insurance policy that the government gives out?
Not that I know of.
So that's the point. You need to, what the government provides, in my understanding, is that one, there are some lump sum payouts given in the form of gratuity, and there are certain accumulations that you have. Besides that, whatever has been your average salary in the last year of demise or retirement, you get 2/3 of that. So naturally, whatever you're getting today, it's going to reduce by 1/3. So, and plus you have rental burden on yourself. You need to build a house, or you need to move into your own house. So these are the things that you will need to provide for. So that gap can be filled up only by buying a life insurance cover for your husbands.
Okay, so sometimes I guess you just have to take matters into your own hand. But, the medical costs are rising, and rising very, very sharply. Do you think you're covered adequately on the medical front?
I think we've been covered under scheme by government called Central Government Health Scheme, CGHS. Yeah. So I think it takes care of a lot of things, right from examination to admission of, the payments there. So I think that's what most of us rely on.
Is it cashless or is it reimbursement based?
It's reimbursement based. So initially you have to spend. That is actually a big thing, because right now the moment you step into the hospital, they first ask for the security, which is itself a huge thing. But probably, that, and the reimbursement takes a lot of time. So
Harshvardhan, in this case, would it make sense to augment this with, a cashless Mediclaim facility, or say a disability insurance in their case?
This brings in a financial planning aspect that you need to have emergency funds, which can be either deployed for your medical emergencies or any other emergency that you may have.
Okay.
Now the question arises, would you want to go to that particular hospital which is empaneled, or would you want to go and take yourself, because the process is, as you mentioned, it takes its own time for reimbursement of those expenses. So you have a choice where private medical insurance policies are available. You can go and buy those policies for yourself. They're not very expensive either. So you buy an insurance policy.
But how do we know which policies? There are so many policies, so you're just muffled with this, which this one is better or that one is better. So there should be someone guiding you to.
Well, there is enough information available. There are advisors who are available. You can just call a few of them, talk to them, understand what they cover. Most importantly, you need to know if there is a hospital in your vicinity which is giving you cashless treatment. You can get yourself admitted in that hospital and you would not need to pay anything.
Okay, once the reimbursement comes, then things.
The insurance company will pay the hospital directly for the medical expenses. At least to that sum which has been insured, which has been covered in the policy.
We're not done yet. Harshvardhan has a lot more aces up his sleeve. So what we'll do is take a very quick break, come back in a bit. Still ahead, we'll tell you what are the other things that you could do that will help you manage your money better. Stay with us.